Guys, welcome to a self-help video for Release 29 Character Creation and Controls. I had a few people from my guild ask me to make this, so I figured I would get it made real quick. Give me a moment to make my character and run you through the opening up of the game in Release 29 since a lot of the interface has changed. There's a lot of character customization you can make. Different faces, different heights, different bone structures, different skin tones, hair color, hairstyles. Due to how many times I've tested and had my character wiped, I really just go with whatever I get stuck with, and I just change it to my skin tone and make sure that I have dark hair and name my character. Oh, and that I'm a guy. But besides that, I basically leave it alone. So starting out here, you can see that the middle over my name, I have a kind of an FPS crosshair. It is an X instead of a vertical and horizontal line. The intersecting is a targeting reference for the new way to control your avatar. There's been a lot of changes to this already. If you played some of the Dev Plus stuff up to this point, you'll notice that there's now a friendly interaction icon versus a targeting interaction icon. This was a big feedback piece for me. I really had a difficulty seeing this kind of throwback Star Wars targeting reticle that I would put over an NPC and click to interact with them. This is great now. You have the circle that you know when you're dealing with an item that's on the ground, a door, or an NPC, anything that you're not attacking with a skill or a spell. That's how that works. So when you're ready to interact, that reticle will change. So even though I'm off, you can see that I've still got the NPC targeted. I'm going to simply double-click to initiate this conversation, and it's going to pull me into the close-up view now where I get to talk with this NPC. I personally prefer typing. You can just click. I will give you a demonstration of both. So I'm going to left-click on a word here, and it will automatically put that word in. So now I'm going to go into the conversation system the way that I like to play. So at this moment, when you tell this opening NPC, Arabella, that you're ready to pick your path, you're going to be taken down a selection choice to start your quest line. I am going to cycle through this fairly quickly because I end up changing my quest line. I usually get put on the courage side, and then at the end it'll give you the option to change your skills to the way that you want, and when I do that I get put with truth. So I'm going to cheat the system and not answer honestly, just to try to get to truth as quickly as I can. So at this point, I've been given the skill set of the mage. That is the truth quest line. You are able to play the other quest lines, but at this point, if you're a new player, I highly recommend you do not get rid of these tooltips because it's going to tell you what to do next. So you can see that to find the Lunar Rift, you need to basically get out of this area here, this screen interaction. So you're going to say farewell, or you're going to hit escape, or whatever it may be, to get out of the NPC interaction and walk down this path. And it tells you this. It says an icon on your compass, C key. If it's not showing already, I believe I rebound mine to M, but that's fine. It'll show you the direction to go, and it'll give you landmarks and information. So We're going to go ahead and close out of this stuff. I'm going to hit escape. That'll pull me out. And then you can see right on my compass up there, there's a lunar rift icon that I'm going to, cannot hover over. Now this is going to be a big thing that bothers people. I'm going to tap tab, and now I've got my mouse, and I can hover over it to show you. So that tab key is how you're going to get back and forth between this new targeting system and then the free. Now, let me be very clear that you're not going to want to stay in the mouse look if you want the best experience the way the developers are designing this. There have been a lot of complaining about long-term play, wrist pains, not being able to feel immersed into the environment because the interaction isn't quite where it should be. The new model that they're designing this game for is going to heavily utilize this new targeting system. So I recommend you try to get used to it and report bugs as you find them. And if it's not letting you play the game the way that you want, you can bug it. I mean, honestly, will understand and they will accept the negative feedback incredibly well. Try to be polite when you're giving them negative feedback, though, because devs are people too. So if you haven't played for a little while, you'll notice that this blue glow is now on your avatar. As you zone between zones, you're given an invulnerability. This will help get rid of all of those spawn camping PKers that have plagued the PvP areas for so long. It's not a perfect resolution, but it's great to see that it's in there now. We've got the little oracle eyeballs that are telling us what's going on, and we're being told, hey, grab a weapon out of a weapon rack, which I just ran past. But let me go ahead and walk you up and show you a couple different ways you can do this. I mentioned earlier that targeting reticle would change when I hover over certain items, and there it is. So I'm just going to simply double-click. And now I have my sword equipped since I've double-clicked that from the weapon rack. I'll show you another way to interact with items in just a moment. But I'm going to come up to this NPC, and I'm going to go out of my targeting mode and use my mouse to double-click the NPC and start this conversation. NPCs that move around, it can be a pain in the neck to chase them. So if you hit tab, you'll get your mouse, and you can double-click them off to the side of the screen, and it's really nice. The targeting system actually works from where your feet are when you interact with it. So if you have an oracle pet in front of you, the minions, the little watchers, they can be flyers, they can be crawlers, they can be different type of minions, but they definitely will interfere with your path. They'll slow you down when you walk, and sometimes they'll interfere with your targeting. So I find when I'm interacting with NPCs, I like to have my mouse back. But anywho, I'm going to go ahead and burn through this real quick. This quest is something I'm not a big fan of doing, but I have to. So I'm going to ask about his dagger. He's going to give me a quest to find something better. If you don't like spoilers, turn away. Don't watch. But I'll tell you right now that this is not something I'll be doing at no wipe. I will wait for a dev to portal me if I have to. But I'm going to loot this bag here. I know it's an heirloom of dead, killed humanoids, but this is how I get out of the area. Oh no, it looks like I am bugged somehow. I'm not able to loot. How odd. Well, let's go back and try a different chest real quick and see if I can get into something else. Yeah, I can open a door. And I can loot other items. I believe this is a UI bug, so I'm going to try to fix this by logging out and logging back in. Sometimes when the UI gets bugged out and logging back in will fix that. So let's see how that goes. Alright, so I had to switch out of the bag inventory mode to fix that one, so I'm going to go ahead and write a bug report. I don't know exactly what caused that. Alright, and if you guys are able to read that chat, that's because QA is not something that you're usually going to be streaming. And for those of you curious about streaming the QA, I did talk with Chris Spears about making this video the night before release and having it prepped and available for people tomorrow, so they would know how to deal with the reticle changes, and he is 100% on board with that, so I did get permission before doing that. Thanks for bringing that to my attention. So, now that I have the necklace, I'm going to go back over to this guy, talk to him about his salvage, tell him that I do have this dagger, I can offer you something better. I found this necklace, I need to scroll down and find the golden necklace, toss it over, give him the item, spoiler over. Now I'm just going to get out of the area. So there's some key stuff that is changing with this in the look and feel of combat, and the biggest thing I want to mention with this is you got to look at what you're fighting. When we were dealing with the tag targeting before, you didn't have to look what you were fighting, but there is a bit of a caveat to that, and that is you only have to look at it when you start fighting. So give me just a moment to get this gate open, then I'll show you what I mean. So after you progress this quest, you're able to open the gate. Not until then. And it looks like it is not happy. Very buggy. I did already complete this in this build, so I know it's completable, so I'm not sure why the interface is bugging out this time around. I'm going to try to switch back off of inventory mode again, see if that helps. Great, now we can progress. So, while you are fighting, you go to target and you'll see the reticles will change red. Now I've got an enemy and I want to fight that enemy. I'm going to cast my spell and I can actually turn away and still hit it. The targeting system is going to rely on where you start the cast, not where you complete the cast. So keep that in mind. When fighting, that actually gives an edge to people who are hopping around on your screen. If you start casting it at the right time, it will work perfectly fine. Also, there is a glitch you can see on the bottom left-hand side of the screen there that I have an invisible glyph. That is a reported bug, but you're welcome to report it yourself. It makes it really hard unless you kind of have a good feel for the distance of your spells. It makes it hard to know when you are or are not able to cast them. This targeting system is very forgiving when it comes to where you need to be. The starting and completion of your cast is almost aim assisted. So if you are a little bit off in your aim, it'll kind of pull you in the right direction and you have to fight it to miss. Upside on that is it helps make the game a little bit easier. Downside on that is you get a lot less control when you're in a large group to hit the thing in the back. So if you want to have intelligent group pulls and intelligent targeting in larger PvE or PvP environments with large groups, it'll be a little bit frustrating at times. So keep that in mind. Going back and looking at the reticle changes again, I still have my weapon out, and the reticle is changing to show me how I'm going to interact with this boat if I click on it. Out of a good habit, I am going to just put my weapon away, but you can see that it is no longer a red X and it went to a green circle, so we know that we're good to double-click to interact with the boat. So that's interacting with NPCs, that's interacting with items, that's looting, that is swapping between the two different modes with tab, that is some information about how targeting monsters work, combat works, knowledge about the caveat with the targeting happening at the beginning of the cast sequence, not when the actual cast happens, and a known bug of glyphs disappearing but still working. Notice it disappeared, but I kept casting Fiery Arrow after that. It's because it still works even though it's invisible. So that's all for now. Enjoy Release 29, and if you have any questions, look me up. I will be doing quite a bit of playing in the evenings Eastern Time.